discuss about gel electrophoresis, and this is a very important concept. Always in the board exams you get questions, so you need to understand what is the actual concept. Okay. So gel electrophoresis, that is a technique for separation and isolation of DNA. Suppose you get indirect question. Name the procedure which can be used for separation and the isolation of the DNA fragments. Then the answer is gel electrophoresis. Then you have to explain the procedure. So either you will get the direct question or you can get the indirect question. Or based on the diagram also you can get the bit question. Okay. So if you understand the concept, the basic fundamental, then you can answer either it is the objective question or it is the subjective question. Okay. Now in the last video I explained you that restriction endonuclease, these are all the enzymes which can be used to cut the DNA into a number of fragments. And this is a technique to separate the fragments, because we have to separate the gene of desirable character so that this gene it can be incorporated in the vector or in the plasmids. Okay. Now how we are separating these DNA fragments? So that technique is called gel electrophoresis. Now here you see the diagram. So this is the matrix. You can find out there is a ground substance, and the ground substance, so that is called the matrix, and the matrix that is made up of agarose. Agarose is a chemical compound which is obtained from the red algae. If you are preparing a medium with the help of the agarose, then that is a semi-solid medium, white and the transparent semi-solid medium. Okay. So in one side of the medium you can find out there are grooves are there, and these grooves, these are called web, so that the cut DNA fragments they can be loaded in the web. Okay. Now another end of the matrix you can find out it is connected to the anode and the electric field, so that is also provided or supplied. Alright. Now DNA, you know that DNA, so that is a negatively charged molecule. So when the DNA, so these are loaded here, so under the electric field these DNA fragments they will start moving, and when they are moving, then the bigger the fragment, the slower is the movement, and the smaller the DNA fragment, the faster will be movement. So with the help of the under the electric field you can find out all DNA fragments depending on the length. Now they are separating from each other. So you see the smallest one, fastest movement, and the largest one, slowest movement. Okay. So like this, if there are 4 fragments of the DNA, now here on the matrix you see these 4 they are separated. But DNA, so that is white in color, and also the medium on the matrix which is made up of agarose, so that is also white in color. So in the white color background, white DNA will not be visible. So to see DNA, we are staining the DNA with a chemical compound which is called ethidium bromide. And ethidium bromide, it can produce orange color. How the DNA it can be visualized? The DNA can be visualized under UV light. Just like you take a normal tube light, similarly you can find out there are tube lights of the UV ray also available. So under the UV ray, when the DNA they are visualized, then you can see orange color fragments. So the base is white and now the DNA they are orange color. So it will be prominent. Now you can cut, suppose this is the desirable DNA you want for making the recombinant DNA. Then this piece of the DNA, so that is cut with the agarose. And this is called elution. Okay, so the cutting of the DNA fragment which is of desirable character, so that we can use in the recombinant DNA technology, and that process is called the elution. Then the gel can be separated and the DNA it can be used for making the recombinant DNA. The question is, what is cloning vector? Now clone, you know that multiple copies of the same organism, so we call it clone. So that structurally or the chromosomally also they are similar to the original organism. So the vector, now these are responsible to make multiple copies of the DNA, and they are called cloning vector. So the plasmid also can be a cloning vector, or the bacteriophage. Plasmid, yesterday I told you that plasmid are circular extra chromosomal DNA which is present in the cytoplasm of the E. coli or other organism also it is found. And it is an autonomous unit, it can replicate itself. So if we are adding a foreign DNA, then when the plasmid or the vector is replicating, then this foreign DNA will also replicate. What is bacteriophage? Bacteriophage, so that is a virus which can attack bacterial cell. And virus, you know that virus is not having any beneficial role. It always produces disease. But how the virus can be used in the technique of genetic engineering? Because here the gene which is responsible for producing the disease, so that is cut and separated. And in place we are adding the gene of desirable character. So now when the virus is entering into the E. coli cell, then in place of producing disease, it can multiply that gene of desirable interest so that we can get the clone or the multiple copies of the foreign DNA. So this is the way how the plasmid or the bacteriophage they are used in genetic engineering procedures. Okay. Now what are the features of vector? Number 1 I have written origin, number 2 is the selectable marker, number 3 is the cloning site. So what is origin? In last video also I told you that when DNA replicates, like for example suppose you take this is a chromosome. For example this is human chromosome number 1. Replication, that is a process in which DNA can make its own copy. And before replication, the DNA which is in coiled form, so that will be straight like this. Alright. Now the DNA has a specific point. So that specific point is called origin. And replication will start from this point. Alright. So similarly the plasmid, which is acting as a cloning vehicle, the plasmid is also having a specific point which is called origin. And this is a circular DNA, but when it will replicate, then it can open up, it can be straight molecule, and the process will start from the specific point which is called origin. So this is a plasmid of E. coli and the name is PBR322. P stands for plasmid. BR stands for Bolivar and Rodriguez, two scientists who discovered this plasmid. And 322, so that is the number of the plasmid which was discovered by these two scientists. Okay, so now you understood. So origin, so that is the point from where the replication will start. So if we want to multiply any foreign DNA, then you have to add to the place near the origin, that foreign piece of DNA. Now the next question, what is selectable marker? Selectable marker is the gene which is present in the plasmid which can differentiate transformant from non-transformant. Now the question is, what is transformant? Transformant is the cell in which transformation has taken place. As I told you, if we are joining one foreign DNA in the plasmid, and the plasmid is entering into the host cell. Now in the host cell, the plasmid will exhibit that particular character and the cell will also show that character which can be observable. So now this host cell is called transformant and the original cell in which the plasmid is not there, so that is called non-transformant. So that is the difference between the transformant and the non-transformant. And selectable marker is the gene in the plasmid which can differentiate between the transformant and the non-transformant. Like for example, here you see in the diagram I have written AMP. AMP means this gene is responsible for providing the ampicillin resistance. Ampicillin, so that is the antibiotic. And this gene that is responsible for providing resistance to tetracycline antibiotic. And here I have written BAM, H1, SAL1. So these are all the site and these are all the restriction endonuclease which can cut the plasmid at specific points. Because you know that the restriction endonuclease, they cut the DNA at specific base sequence. Okay. So here in this plasmid PBR322, this ampicillin resistant gene and the tetracycline resistant gene. So these are all the selectable markers. Okay. Now for example, suppose Suppose you cut the tetracycline resistant gene, and now in place you add a foreign gene, foreign DNA. Okay, so this is a foreign DNA. So this plasmid now lost the gene for tetracycline resistant, and if you are entering the gene in a host cell or the E. coli cell, now the E. coli cell is not having resistance to tetracycline. It cannot grow in tetracycline medium, but it can grow in the ampicillin medium. So these kind of the gene which can differentiate transformant from the non-transformant, they are called selectable markers. Okay. And the cloning site, these are all the positions where the different endonuclease, they can break the plasmids. If there is only one site, so that one particular endonuclease, it can break the DNA, so the work will be much more easier. If there are many sites are there, where the different type of the enzymes it can cut the plasmids, then the procedure becomes very difficult. What is insertional inactivation? Insert माने घुसा रहा है, प्लाज्मिड में कोई जीन को एंटर करवा रहा है. So that is the meaning of insert. Okay. Now as I told you, this is PBR 322, and this plasmid is having two antibiotic resistant gene. One is the ampicillin resistant, another is the tetracycline resistant. Okay. But here, if you want to differentiate the transformant from the non-transformant, तो आपको ये ऑर्गेनिजम्स को उस मीडियम में ग्रो करना पड़ेगा, एंटीबायोटिक रेजिस्टेंस मीडियम में ग्रो करना पड़ेगा. जो नॉन ट्रांसफॉर्मेंट है, ओरिजिनल सेल है, इसमें दोनों रेजिस्टेंस है, तो ये उस कल्चर मीडियम जिसमें एंटीबायोटिक टेट्रासाइक्लिन है, एम्पिसिलिन है, दोनों में ग्रो कर सकते हैं. बट जिसमें चेंज हो गया, ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन हो गया और उसमें हमने टेट्रासाइक्लिन जीन को कट कर दिया, वहाँ एक फॉरेन डीएनए इंसर्ट किया. Now the transformant cell, it can grow only in the ampicillin medium. तो यहाँ क्या है ना, अगर आपको डिफरेंशिएट करना है ट्रांसफॉर्मेंट नॉन ट्रांसफॉर्मेंट, तो आपको ऑर्गेनिजम्स को कल्चर मीडियम में ग्रो करके आपको देखना पड़ेगा. तो दिस इज अ टाइम कंज्यूमिंग प्रोसीजर. ओके. नाउ सपोज देयर इज अ प्रोसीजर where only by the observation, visualization from the outside we can tell that this is a transformant organism and this is non-transformant. So the process will be much more easier. So in this procedure, now we are inserting a gene which can inactivate the color producing gene. For example, one E. coli cell is there. The normal E. coli cell, it can grow in the culture medium and the color is blue in color. Suppose that blue color producing gene, so that is cut, and in place we are adding another gene of our interest. Now in the transformant cell, now it seems to be white because we have cut the blue color producing gene. So now the transformation cell, it cannot produce the blue color, so now it is white in color. So simply by seeing only you can tell that the blue color, so that is a non-transformant or the original cell, and the white color, so that is the transformant cell. So this process, so this is much more easier and we can differentiate between these two cells easily.